Belarus's leading opposition figure says the country has passed a point of no return as protests continue over President Alexander Lukashenko's disputed election victory last month. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya was the runner-up in that vote, which opposition members say was rigged. Today, she addressed the UN Security Council from exile in Lithuania. The former candidate has called on international governments to help the country secure free and fair elections and to put an end to President Lukashenko's crackdown on protesters. The EU has announced that it will place sanctions on senior officials in Lukashenko's government, but has yet to release a list of names.
Authorities say that a new fire broke out on a massive and fully loaded oil supertanker off the coast of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Navy said on Thursday that flames had spread to the bridge of the ship. One of its 23 crew was injured and another missing. 2 Russian warships had left a Sri Lankan harbour to assist in the firefighting. The cargo area of the ship is reportedly still intact. Only the engine room and surrounding areas were damaged. A Navy spokesman said the military had sent an aircraft and 2 ships to aid in the rescue. The new Diamond is what's called a very large crude carrier. That's the naming classification for the second largest type of oil tanker in the world. It's chartered by Indian Oil Corp and was carrying the equivalent of about 2 million barrels of oil. The ship had sailed from Kuwait and was headed toward India, according to ship tracking data.
The man accused of gunning down a pro-Trump supporter in Portland is now dead. Federal officials say agents shot and killed him while trying to make an arrest in Washington state. The suspect had said he is, quote, 100% Antifa and defended his actions during an interview that aired yesterday.
What I will say is that I felt that my life and other people around me's lives were in danger. And I felt like I had no choice but to do what I did.
That development coming as Portland nears 100 nights of protests, and other big cities are bracing for the possibility of more violence this weekend.
A U.S. think tank on Friday reported that North Korea might be preparing for a submarine missile launch. Latest satellite images of a North Korean shipyard have shown activity suggestive of preparations for a test of medium-range submarine-launched ballistic missile. The Center for Strategic and International Studies said the images of North Korea's Sinpo shipyard it published on their official website showed several vessels within a secure boat basin, one of which resembled vessels previously used to tow the submarine test stand barge out to sea for test launches. Images obtained on September 4th suggest preparations for a forthcoming Bogunsong 3 submarine-launched ballistic missile from the submersible test stand barge based in this North Korean shipyard.
I'm only one. Only one? Yes. No other one. Yes. What's discover? I'm so theory. I call.
Passenger Rail Agency will soon announce a security plan to protect its rail infrastructure, but it appears to be too little too late. The network across the country has been pillaged by thieves and will cost hundreds of millions of rand to be made operational again.
This is the rail route between Pretoria and Tembisa. At one point, it would ferry tens of thousands of commuters every day to and from work. Now its overhead cables are stolen or vandalized, and the stations along the route have been stripped of anything of value. Power lines hang on to tracks, ready to be rolled up, stolen and sold for scrap. Electricity cables that once lit up information boards have been ripped from the ground. Just about anything of value has been pillaged. It's a common sight across the network in Pretoria. ENCA visited stations along routes in the north, west and south of the capital city. The only line still operational is the one to Mamelodi. It is one of 4 in the whole country still working.
Hundreds of protesters demonstrated near Santiago's iconic Plaza Italia on Friday to vent their anger on President Sebastián Piñera's government over growing inequality in the country. Demonstrators banged pots to show their support for the constitutional plebiscite to be held in October. With COVID-19 fears still in place, only few hundreds of protesters participated in Friday's march. Water cannon and riot police were deployed to stop demonstrators from gathering in large groups.
I think that's putting them out.
Brawling with police in the name of freedom. Demonstrators were picked off one by one to rounds of applause. Handcuffed but far from gagged, their hatred for lockdown was laid bare.
Is this the future you want for us? They turned you into a Nazi overnight. I'm not even struggling. We're locked up, and it's all because of Dan Andrews' incompetency.
Moving early on the loudest only angered the growing mob, ditching masks and social distancing to link arms and stare down police reinforcements. Shoved and surrounded, the protesters were beaten back to the steps of the shrine.
This is disgraceful! We paid for you guys!
But we should be in thousands.
But songs and chants failed to move the police line.
Russia is readying for phase 3 of clinical trials of its COVID-19 vaccine. An international medical journal says that the Sputnik V drug produced an antibody response in all participants of early testing and that there were no major side effects.
Back on the 11th of August, Russia became the first country to register a vaccine against COVID-19. Now, more data became available just last Friday that showed that Sputnik V vaccine successfully produced antibodies in all 76 participants in early stage trials. Now, the trials discovered that all patients not only developed antibodies, but also none of the participants showed any side effects whatsoever. Now, a study was also published in The Lancet, which is one of the most respected medical journals in the world. And a Russian direct investment fund CEO says that that study answers many questions.